John Nemechek's future may be in doubt. Ryan Preece's future seems to be all but confirmed. And NASCAR may be racing at an actual Mario track in Saudi Arabia. What's up, everyone? My name is Jet. Welcome back to an episode of Inside Alliance. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday morning. As always, before we jump into it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more content to the channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on any of the topics that we will be discussing in today's video. Of course, there'll be timestamps as always, and there will be little sections on the bottom of your screen. You can jump to them to whatever topic you want me to talk about. Let's first start off with John Nemechek. Now, him and his team at Legacy Motor Club have had an awful year. They are, in my eyes, the biggest team that has the worst year, in the sense that they're a team that you would think have all the people, the sponsorship, the resources to be able to be successful, yet they're running 31st and 35th in the driver's standings. Absolutely horrific they are. Well, Erik Jones, we know he's been a proven winner. He won the Southern 500 2 years ago in the 43 ride for what was then GMS Motorsports, or Petty GMS Motorsports. But yeah, their time in their inaugural year with Toyota has not been a good one. But it looks like John Nemechek's future in that 42 ride may be in doubt. Now, take this with a grain of salt. This is a rumor from an Instagram account named NASCAR Rumor Nostalgia that said that there have been rumors going around in the garage as of late that suggests that John Nemechek will be out of the 42 ride at season's end. Now, this Instagram account has been right in the past. So, again, something that it should be taken note of, but again, don't take it too seriously because it is, at the end of the day, just a rumor. Now, at the moment, John Nemechek is the lowest of all drivers in terms of the driver standings. He is positioned 35th in the point standings. That is the lowest among all full-time drivers. So it is not good. And he's also 35th in the owner standings. Again, not good at all for the 42 team. Now, to be fair, the 43 car is meh. I mean, Erik Jones is 31st in the driver standings. I believe also 30th or 31st also in the owner standings. So he's not that far away from John Nemechek, but still, Nemechek has been lagging behind much more than Erik Jones has. And the thing is, Erik Jones is a proven Cup winner, whereas John Nemechek, even though he's had success in the Trucks and Xfinity series, hasn't had any in Cup. Honestly, I hope this is not true because I think Nemechek is a really talented driver. I mean, we saw what he can do in Trucks and Xfinity. It's more or less the cars. It's not the drivers, it's the cars. I feel like that's the problem for Legacy Motor Club. I know that they're a Toyota team, but they are a unaffiliated Toyota team, meaning that they're building their own stuff. In my eyes, I feel like it'd be best to align with Joe Gibbs Racing, like what Furniture Row did. Yes, there could be issues with cost and things like that, but in order to get the ground running, to get your feet wet, I think it'd be best for them to align themselves with Joe Gibbs Racing to be able to get something going, and then maybe down the line you could work at your own pace, like what Stewart Haas Racing did. For the longest time, they were associated with Hendrick Motorsports, a partnership that has been together since 2009 and even way back during the Haas CNC days in 2002, 2003, I believe, around that era. So that came to an end in 2016, but by that time, Stewart Haas Racing had established itself as a championship-winning team. So when they moved to Ford, they were able to get a lot of resources. They were able to get the ground running in order to know how to do things their own way. The same thing, I think, has to apply with Legacy Motor Club. In order to get their feet wet, they got to align themselves with JGR. So I hope that is not the case, that they do not get rid of John Nemechek, because if they just put in a new driver, it ain't going to solve anything. It's a team problem, not a driver problem. Our next story talks about Ryan Preece. Now, Stewart Haas Racing, the team that Ryan Preece is currently with, they will be shutting down at the end of the season in 3 weeks' time. So, we know that for 3 drivers, we know where they're racing in 2025. Chase Briscoe's replacing Truex at Joe Gibbs Racing. Noah Gragson is going to Front Row Motorsports. And Josh Berry is going to the Wood Brothers, replacing Harrison Burton. But nothing yet has been confirmed with Ryan Preece. And I think mainly it's because mainly of sponsorship. Berry, Gragson, and Briscoe, they either bring sponsorship or at the very least they bring in results. Berry has brought in some really strong runs with that 4 car. Gragson has some strong runs with the 10 car, but also has a really good relationship with Bass Pro Shops and Black Rifle Coffee. And of course, Chase Briscoe. We know how great of a talent he is. Jumping ship to Joe Gibbs Racing to replace Truex. Maybe bringing High Point and Mahindra tractors, but does have Bass Pro Shops also joining him as well. But Ryan Preece doesn't really have anything. He doesn't have an anchor sponsor like some of his teammates have. So where could he go for 2025? Well, there's always been a rumor rumbling about RFK Racing and the possibility of them expanding to a third charter. Well, Lee Spencer, a NASCAR writer, tweeted this out that yesterday there was a Homestead tire test, a wet weather tire test. 3 teams were supposed to take place in this event. The 42, Legacy Motor Club with John Hunter Nemechek, the 48 with Hendrick Motorsports and Alex Bowman, and the 6 car, not being driven by Brad Keselowski or Chris Buescher, but Ryan Preece. So, the question becomes, is Ryan Preece jumping ship to RFK Racing for 2025? That it could be a strong possibility. Now, RFK Racing, they do have a third test team, that being the Stage 60 program that they've ran for a few races in 2024. So they do have a third team, a bare bones team in a sense, but they do have a third team in the making. On top of that, there have also been rumors going around about Kroger, the longtime sponsor with JTG Daugherty Racing, could be jumping ship to RFK Racing. And Kroger has also previously collaborated with Ryan Preece when Preece drove for JTG, I believe, in 2019 to 2020, 2021, I think around that era, when he drove the 37 car. So Preece and Kroger already have a previous relationship. So him potentially 2025 Kroger jumping on board the 60 car with Ryan Preece behind the wheel could be a strong possibility, and I hope that is the case. I do like Ryan Preece. He's not been the best, but again, Stewart-Haas Racing as a whole has gone drastically down in their performance outside of the 14 car. I think Briscoe's been the only one that's gotten the good stuff. Everyone else has just gotten leftovers. So outside of Briscoe, you've seen some strong runs from both Barry and Gregson. You've also seen some occasional good runs from Ryan Preece, not at the level I think of Gregson and Barry, but still there is something there I think that should be worked on. And I think maybe Brad Keselowski recognizes that and wants to bring Preece into a much more established team like RFK Racing to help him really grow. And now for the story that I think a lot of y'all want to talk about, and that is Saudi Arabia and their new Mario Kart city around a racetrack type of track, whatever the hell you want to call it, Qiddiya. Now this new, I don't even know what you call it, but this new track, this new piece of whatever the hell you want to call this, but this new project that is going to be scheduled to host the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix beginning in 2027, and it involves some of the weirdest things I've ever seen. I didn't even think were possible. It's basically a racetrack, but around it or in between it is a city. I mean, it is, say what you want about it, but it looks unbelievable. Now, Qiddiya, the city in Saudi Arabia, claims that it will build a racetrack that has the first ever cantilevered area section on the racetrack that goes up to 20 stories off the ground. If you don't know what that means, it's basically, if you look at some of weird houses and you notice that there's a section that is just kind of in the air, that's what that is. Basically, there's going to be a section where they're going uphill about 20 stories off the ground and making a hard left-hander called the blade with nothing underneath, which means that if someone has a throttle go loose, they gonna die. Like, they will die. No ifs or buts about it. I mean, unless you have just a helicopter just chilling below you to catch you or something like that. Like, I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of terrifying. Now, why am I telling you this? Why are you talking about this? We already know this is going to happen. Well, apparently, NASCAR may be going there as well. Not kidding. Now, shout out to Sad Possibility 1418. Shout out to him on Reddit. He posted this. I'm not sure if that's the original photo from him, but regardless, it shows the Qiddiya Speed Park Track events for 2020-30, and it shows all of the racing events that they want to host at this racetrack. And you see Formula One that is solid colored in orange. Now, why that's important is that if it's in a solid orange box, that means it has been confirmed, it is secured. And if it's in a dotted line or a dashed line box, it means it is in progress or it is a possibility. Also, there are green and silver circles. Now, the green circles means that it will be classified as a Tier 1 event, and the silver circles will be classified as a Tier 2 event. Now, you see here, I mean, everything, FIA Motorsport Games, WEC, MotoGP, WRC, SBK, Formula Ford, Porsche, Ferrari Club, F1 Academy, everything like that. But then you see, look at that, below Formula One is NASCAR. NASCAR sitting right there, smack dab in the middle. Why? Why is NASCAR on this list of potentially racing in Qiddiya, Saudi Arabia? Well, If you're hearing this for the first time, you think it sounds crazy, but it's actually not. This is something that NASCAR has discussed in the past. Now, according to Adam Stern, NASCAR has declined to comment on being listed as in talks to bring a future race to Qiddiya in Saudi Arabia, but it has acknowledged exploring events in the Middle East before. And then it says on the bottom that the Saudis today gave an update on track construction, plus showed a poster with series they are eyeing, and that involved NASCAR. But like I said, NASCAR and racing in Middle East is something that they have discussed in the past. Last year, they've referenced it at least 3 times in Adam Stern quotes. First, on February 13, 2023, that says that NASCAR is in active talks to bring a race to the New York City area, per COO Steve O'Donnell, and they're also looking at possible cup races in Denver, Seattle, Mexico, Canada, and an international race in the Middle East, July 5th, 2023, with Ben Kennedy setting up NASCAR in Chicago. He has also been taking site visits for potential other races / exhibitions in places like Canada, the Middle East, New York City, Denver, Seattle, and Mexico. And finally, again, on June 11th, 2023, during the build-up for the 24 Hours of Le Mans, NASCAR said again that execs making trips all over the world recently and evaluating opportunities in regions like the Middle East. Ben Kennedy said he's already starting to think about the 25, 26, and 27 schedules. Again, 2027 is a debut of this racetrack for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So, yeah, okay. From a moral standpoint, hell no. All right. I don't think I need to discuss Saudi Arabia and their treatment of, just anyone, especially if you're not a man or straight. If you're gay, they'll kill you. If you're a woman, they treat you like pure trash. So, no, it's not the nicest in terms of how they treat their own people. Yeah, and it's, again, I'm not going to go deep into this, but we all know this is another version of sports washing. It's something that has been discussed, sports being used to clean up a country's very, very bad tainted image. It's been something that's been used throughout history. You know, Hitler Olympics, the Argentinian World Cup in the late 1970s, Russia in the World Cup, Qatar in the World Cup. I mean, I could go on and on and on about sports washing throughout history. So nothing new to discuss. But yeah, NASCAR racing in Saudi Arabia, I'm not a fan of that at all. Now, let's play hypothetical. What if they do race? Obviously, racing in Saudi Arabia would cost a lot. I mean, I talked about in the video that I made a couple weeks ago about NASCAR going to Japan because the costs were so high to travel to Japan. And this was when there were sponsors coming in left, right, and center. Now it's NASCAR in today's day and age. Granted, this will be years down the line, but in today's day and age, NASCAR teams aren't making any money. How could that possibly work of them traveling to Saudi Arabia? More than likely, because it is Saudi Arabia, the Saudis would just throw money at them. I guarantee you that if NASCAR were to race in Saudi Arabia at this racetrack, they would be bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars in cash flow. Because Saudis, we know the Saudis, they throw money at everything. They threw so much at F1. That's why they're building this damn racetrack. They threw so much at WWE to have 2 premium live events a year. They're throwing so much money to have the World Cup for FIFA, which, yes, you know, we all know the FIFA World Cup. We know the bidding process. We know it's rigged, that you just pay, you know, the executive members of the FIFA committee in order to get the votes, yada, yada. We already know this. The FIFA Uncovered Netflix documentary explained all that, so I'm not going to dive into that. But point of the matter is that the Saudis would throw money so much at the point that they will probably cover the team's travel expenses and all of that because they want as much sports around as possible in order to help clean their image. So, on one side, if this was really anywhere in the world that didn't have these human rights issues, I would be saying this is cool, this is awesome. But because of where it is in the world, in Saudi Arabia, if this does go through, I don't know, I would have a pretty big problem with that.
You can't tell me now about time. Do you know how many lines I done put down, vibes I done sent out? But we in here, you dig. I love the market till they come red carpet the kids. Success still the target. Soon I'll be crossing that bridge, but can't bring everybody with me. Family only. I got some people think I owe a favor, barely know me. That's why my focus on the road. It's all I know. I see them sticking close to play the